Hello Leo, welcome to this reading. On August 11th, this long Mercury retrograde period is finally over. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at this week ahead, this week of August 11th, and see what this week has for you now that we have direct motion from Mercury. So let's go ahead and dive into this week ahead. Now, do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. All right, Leo, let's go ahead and see what we have here for you. We can all breathe a little bit easier now. It felt like that Mercury retrograde was a long one. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. I know I was more tongue-tied than usual. I know in my readings and just generally. But anyway, this is now behind us. We've got direct motion, forward motion here from Mercury. Let's see what we have. All right, Leo. Go ahead and get everything set up. Get all of the cards in view, and then we'll get right into it for you. All right. I think that's looking just about good enough to me. Cool. Energy on the bottom. You have the Ten of Wands. All right, so Ten of Wands, it can indicate some sort of struggle in your current situation. I have to say, Leo, I do see some sort of like struggle here showing up on the board, on the cards. The thing about the Ten of Wands is, there are some good things here, right? On one hand, this person's a bit exhausted. They're sort of like walking uphill, like carrying the weight of the world on their back, so to speak. But on the other end here, when you get the Ten of Wands, it would suggest that first and foremost, you've gained a lot of wisdom in some area of your life, okay? I have a sense that some of you have learned something maybe, back in July or, recently, and you can take what you've learned, you can build on the wisdom that you have to move forward. The other thing here is this would suggest that you are a hard worker, and which is always a good, it's a good attribute to have. Finally, there may be something coming to a close here, during this week or in the weeks ahead. But yeah, there could be some like timeline updates here that happen in this week ahead, connected to a closure around something. Let's go ahead and let's try to expand on that here in this reading. So you definitely have some. First and foremost, you definitely have some abundance here, okay, in this reading. We've got the Empress, which is always a great sign. And actually, you don't have a bad reading here. Tarot is all about how you look at it. So I'm going to try to give you the best advice possible for this week ahead and make the best of this reading. So let's go ahead and dive in here. You do have the Devil, all right? So the Devil, it is, one of those things that it can represent some sort of like tendency that we have within ourselves that is not helping us move forward, right? Everybody's got this sort of like, everybody has something that they're looking to sort of improve on or work on in this lifetime, and that can, the Devil can represent that, okay? It also may, the Devil may also bring up messages of entrapment, okay, in the tarot. It may feel like you're chained to something or tied down or you feel trapped. Okay, there's the sense of entrapment with the Devil. Some of you here, as I'm looking at this, with the Devil and the Ten of Wands, some of you feel like you're weighed down by, it's like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And you have so many commitments and so much work that it's sort of like weighing you down in some way. Ten of Wands, Devil. You sort of feel trapped in this mountain of work, or you feel trapped in some sort of commitment that you are required to fulfill, okay, in this week. And what I would say is there's a real opportunity here to there's a real opportunity here for you to kind of work through this during this week. There's a real opportunity for you here. What I was actually going to say is to kind of like look at this in a different way. Some of you may need to change up your approach in this week, okay? I think there's an opportunity for you to see something in a different way or to approach something in a different way. Okay, I'm going to talk about that more as we go along. In the first column, you have the Three of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Empress. Now, this is my favorite column here in this reading for you. This is a very positive set of cards here in the first portion of this reading. Okay, so the Three of Cups suggests that you have something to celebrate. Okay, it's next to the Seven of Swords, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. We don't have to talk about that now. But the Three of Cups is generally a positive card. It says that some of you, you may have like some solid social engagements. You may have, you may have something to celebrate, right? You can see the three friends, the three sisters here dancing. It's raining. They're throwing their cups in the air. The vibes are good. The vibes are high. It's a very positive card. It also can just connect to the people around you, your friend group, your social circle, maybe your family as well, depending on how close you are to them. The people around you, can show up when you see the Three of Cups. You then here have the Seven of Pentacles, which is a message that would suggest that some of you, you've really built something here, okay? Prior to this reading, for a while, you have been building on something. You've been slowly but surely gaining momentum on something here with the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. Nobody can question your work ethic, Leo, okay? Nobody can. And, for the Seven of Pentacles, it can indicate like long-term money, right? Long-term money. It seems like there's maybe even some sort of long-term commitment here that is in question, okay? It may be not in question, but yeah, okay, it may be in question. It may be like you're just kind of analyzing some sort of long-term commitment. Could this be a commitment to a person? Sure, it could. Could this be a commitment to some investment that you've made, such as a home or something else? Could it be a commitment to your job, a career, or some other area of life? There's some sort of long-term, and the key word here is long-term commitment, that you are analyzing, that you're looking at, okay, in this week ahead, and maybe the weeks that follow. And what's nice here is now that we have this direct motion from Mercury, whatever is sort of like felt like it was going backwards, over the past couple weeks. I think it was like a 3-week retrograde period. It felt like a long one to me. Let me just double check that. We also have Saturn there retrograde as well. Yeah, basically 3 weeks. Basically. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 weeks. It felt like a doozy. But anyway, whatever was kind of going backwards here, over the past 3 weeks, like, I think that this is going to start to pick up for you here, okay, as you go along, especially around some sort of like commitment that you have. The Empress is nice. This can connect to a mother in your life. It could also be referring to your motherhood as well if you are a mother yourself. But the Empress can also be, it's about abundance, all right? You can see the Empress here is surrounded by abundance. All of the fruits and the flowing water and the bushes and the trees and the butterflies and all the amazing nature around them represent abundance in the tarot. And so, with that, it can talk about fertility, right? So when you see the Empress, it's very good if you want to start something, if you want to, plant a seed, so to speak, right? You may have fertile grounds to start something new here, Leo, during this period of time. In the middle, you have the Seven of Swords, the Devil, and the Queen of Cups. Okay, so, right, you have this combination that is, it's challenging when you get sometimes when you get the Three of Cups and the Seven of Swords, you'll hear, as well as the Devil, you got to throw the Devil in there as well. You'll hear a lot of people say there may be like a third-party situation. Okay, the vibe here wasn't that I was getting a love message, but we really only have the Queen of Cups, Seven of Cups here. Well, we do have the Three of Cups, right? So the majority of these cards are not cups, but we have a kind of like a mix of cards here, right? So this could be a third-party situation in that you may find out that somebody was sort of like messing around, somebody that you're involved with. You may also be that person as well. No judgment here, just reading the cards. But there may be something like that shows up for you here, Leo. I want more confirmation of that because, it can also just be this idea of somebody like meddling in something. The idea though for me in this reading, okay, the idea though for me here, because if we see the Three of Swords, that's going to be a different message. When we go through and we clarify, if we see the Three of Swords, that'll maybe confirm this idea of a third-party situation. Instead, what I see happening for you here is the Seven of Swords in its more positive aspect is maybe asking you to flip the situation on its head. Can you approach something from a different angle? Can you get creative in solving this situation around a commitment that you have here? The Devil, the Ten of Wands, you feel chained down to, you feel weighed down or chained down to something that feels like, you're carrying a heavy load, It's probably work related from my intuition here. It feels like it's more work related than anything. Okay, so especially if your relationship's good, it's not about like some third party situation is what I see here. Can you approach something in a new way? It can talk about problem solving. And I think that that's more sort of in alignment with this reading here. You then have the Queen of Cups, which the Queen of Cups, it talks about some keen level of intuition or awareness, some insight, some foresight that you may have on something, okay? Really trusting your intuition. And this may also be a good time for you to reach out and talk to someone that is a good listener, okay? Or even, this card is associated with professionals as well in those areas. So that would be like therapists, people of that nature, coaches, stuff like that. So yeah, let's see what else we have here. You have your energy here in the Queen of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Queen of Swords in the final column. Now, one thing I want to point out that I'm sure some of you have keenly already noticed is we have three queens. We have the Three of Cups. Look at that. We could say the three people here on the cups are the three queens. We could say that, right? In this reading specifically, right? We've got three queens. We got the Three of Cups. There are other people involved here, okay? There are other people, for sure. That is definitely here. And, some of you may feel a little overwhelmed. It feels more so like some commitments that you've made to others, okay, from this reading here with the three queens and the three cups. Right? It feels like some sort of commitment that you've made. Maybe you're here, there, and everywhere, and it's like, I got to do this on Monday, I got to do this on Tuesday, this on Sunday, whatever it is, right? Like some of you may just be spread too thin at this time in this week ahead. Okay. You then have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, it's overwhelming, right? It's this idea of being overwhelmed. The Queen of Swords may ask you to look at your words. How are you using your words? Are you being sharp with your words? Do you need to be sharp with your words? Like, do you need to be direct or not? Is there a better way? Something along these lines. And then Queen of Wands, interestingly enough, it can connect to busyness, right? It can say that maybe you're busy during this period of time. But also, more importantly, for the Queen of Wands, it's about authenticity. All right, it's about authenticity and confidence as well in yourself. So why don't we go ahead and let's take a look here and let's move into the clarifications portion of this reading for you here, Leo, and see what cards we have to come forward to clarify. We'll start off by pulling some oracle cards. I am using the Psychic Tarot, so it's kind of oracle cards, kind of tarot cards. One of my favorite decks of all time. So let's go ahead and see what we have here for you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to take that card. Energy on the bottom here. You have the crown chakra. Wow. Okay. So the crown chakra is your spiritual center. It's right above your head. This is, you can say, where spiritual information comes in. Okay. It's the spiritual energy. It's the energy receiving center. Okay. It's where the spiritual energy comes in. Okay. When your crown chakra is blocked, it means you need to ground yourself. Okay. You can't receive the spiritual information, through meditation or just in your work in spirituality, if your crown chakra is blocked, right? So, there are so many like meditations on YouTube available that you can do, crown chakra meditations. And I have noticed as well that there are people who love to get like readings, right? Like, or watch readings on YouTube. But when you do too many, right? So like if you do like too many readings, let's say you get a tarot reading, an astrology reading, you get a palm reading, you do Reiki healing, like you do all of these sort of spiritual readings and practices, like sometimes it can kind of overload the crown. So that's one thing that I want to just point out as well, all right? That some of you may resonate with, okay? So you have choose wisely as well as emotional loss. So that would be the Seven of Cups and the Five of Cups. You then here have, you pulled a bunch of cards. Ah, nice. Universe and Love Begins. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to try to put these together here. And then you have Truth, Destiny. Truth and Destiny. All right, so that'd be the Judgment, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World here, world equivalents, showing up here in the Oracle cards, as well as the Ace of Cups, okay? So, The good news is I don't see the Three of Swords that have shown up here so far in the Oracle messages. But there is some sort of like completion here. There is some sort of realization that you're coming to around a commitment. Okay, I do see something coming to a close here with the Universe and the Ten of Wands. And it will feel like, man, the burden is released from you. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's clarify the original 9 cards by pulling some more cards here. All right. Now, Leo, I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And as always, I do hope things are going well for you. All right. Let's see what we have. Okay. You've got the Page of Swords here showing up. You have the Hermit and Five of Wands. Okay, so Five of Wands and the Empress. Maybe a bit of a conflict here with someone. Could this be a family member? It could. Certainly could, as it's with the Empress. There may also just be some... there may just be some sort of conflict here that's going on at this time. And, you know, it may be sort of helpful during this period of time to just kind of have all parties say what they need to say, you know? Say what they need to say with because there is definitely a party involved here, as we have the 3 queens and the 3 of cups. So it maybe just be like a like a heart-to-heart group talk here that may be beneficial at this time. You do have the Hermit with the 7 of Pentacles. There's a contemplation of your commitments, as I've talked about. And with the Hermit, it would suggest that you're going into a deeper level of contemplation around this. But more importantly, you may want to separate yourself, not forever, okay? You don't have to be like a lifelong hermit, but, you know, separate yourself, create a little bit of distance, okay? Because this sense of commitment that you have to something that feels burdensome, you know, only you can find the right answer to this. And that's what the Hermit would represent in this suggestion, in this reading, right? Like, only you can find the answer and the way out of that situation, right? With the Page of Swords, you have the 3 of Cups. So Page of Swords is one of my retrograde cards. You know, there may have been something over the past 3 weeks that just happened, you know, with your group of people or your family or, you know, maybe colleagues, whatever the case may be, like, and there may have been just some difficult communication or some delays here. I think there's an opportunity to resolve the conflict. Let's see what we have. Okay, you have the 10 of Pentacles. I like that here with the 7 of Swords. Yeah, you've got the 2 of Cups, nice. And then you also have the World, again, I say because you had the Universe card here. Okay, so, yeah. Basically, like for you, it feels like abundance is right around the corner here, okay? It feels like abundance is right around the corner, but the path to going around the corner, I will say, is not exactly obvious, okay? You may need to take the back door and then, you know, find the new passageway, and I'm trying to like create an analogy here, but what I'm saying is, like, with the 7 of Swords, this is taking a different route, taking a creative route, you know, to a problem, or to the abundance in this case, is you have the 10 of Pentacles and the Empress card here, which is amazing. You've got the 2 most abundant cards in the tarot. So it's here, it's available to you. But the path from point A to point B is definitely not a straight line for you. So what I would also say is there may be a dispute that is going on between you and a family member. Okay, this isn't going to be for everyone, but this is showing up here. We've got a conflict in the 5 of Wands, the Empress indicating a mother, or just, like, I like to say it's a family member sometimes. The 10 of Pentacles is a family card as well, but the 10 of Pentacles is also, like, generational money, right? Like, money you inherit, you know, money that's been, you know, kept for and built for a long, long time, you know? And we have that with the 7 of Swords, so there may be something going on here. You do have this 2 of Cups, which is partnership with the Devil. That's interesting. I love the 2 of Cups. It's my favorite love card. Obviously, it's around it. You know, obviously the 7 of Swords and the Devil there is showing up. There just may be a question of commitment. I'm not even ready to say that there's foul play yet. Would I be surprised if you find something out? No, I wouldn't. But just intuitively here, it doesn't feel like necessarily that there's foul play. It's just sort of like there's a question of commitment here. Yeah, that's going on. You then have the World, which is a completion in the tarot, you know. It can also indicate success, worldly success as well. And yeah, you definitely have something coming to a close here. You have the Star, the Three of Wands, and you also have the Sun. Amazing. Star, Three of Wands, and the Sun. Amazing. I said it twice because this is exactly something that I would love to see in a reading like this. Okay, this is all going to work out for you, Leo. Like, if this is your timeline, if this is your reading, if I'm reading this for you and this is your reading, the Sun and the Star would suggest, it's one of my favorite combinations. It would suggest that you have an overwhelming amount of success that's coming in for you, especially with the World. Okay, with the World's influence there. The World, the Sun, the Star, those are big cards. Those are extremely positive, big energies. The Sun, it can even indicate the truth. Okay, it can indicate the truth. Something that you've been in the dark around, it can come forward. It can come into the light, so to speak. So yeah, you may learn something about someone, okay, as the Sun is falling on one of these queens that we've been talking about. Yeah, you may learn something about someone, but this is ultimately going to end up working out in your favor, okay? And I would say that there's a level of confidence that you are stepping into here, Leo, that seems pretty solid, okay? Confidence and authenticity here with the Sun and the Queen of Wands, okay? You may have dipped back into like old habits or old routines or something like this here in the last 3 weeks, or there may have been something that you returned to in the last 3 weeks, by the way. Something that just, maybe it felt familiar, maybe it felt comforting. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but there's something that you may have dipped back into in the last 3 weeks that you may be moving past. Now, we've got another 3 here in the Three of Wands. Threes can almost always connect to other people. Threes may suggest your partnerships and alliances, but it also represents growth and expansion forward, okay? And then the Star, it is a wish fulfillment card. So you have amazing energy here. You do have the Four of Pentacles, which can indicate you know, maybe being hesitant or just maybe even being wise as well with the money that you have. Notice how we didn't get the Three of Swords, okay? So I don't even know that there is foul play here. It's more so like there's a question of commitment, okay? And it may be your own commitment as well to something. All right, let's go ahead and let's see what the Kipper cards have for you here. Now, I did get one fly out here, so we're going to take a look at this first. So we've got Judication. All right, we've got 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's see what we've got. All right, we've got Judication, Pathway, wow, Sudden Wealth, Journey, False Person. There's that Seven of Swords again, and Family Room. Yeah, I don't even know that this person's romantically connected in any way. You do have this false person with the Family Room. I've been talking about it the entire reading, okay? The Judication card flew out. So, you know, that can simply refer to legal situations. There may just be a dispute here going on, maybe connected to some assets that you share or, you know, that you're tied to in some way. Pathway says that the future is bright for you. This may take 3 to 6 months to completely resolve, but it's your dharma. You know, this is part of what you're experiencing here, and you're experiencing it for a reason. Okay, so there's always a lesson to be learned. And then Sudden Wealth is like, you know, you could literally get lucky on something, okay? I think that the universe is trying to bless you with a little luck here. And yeah, your situation could suddenly turn around. On the bottom, you do have poverty here, okay? Which I think is more so around this sense of being tied down to or chained to a commitment that you have, okay? That it feels very heavy. This is what I have. Thank you so much for being here, Leo. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, enjoy the new Mercury Retrograde free energy, the direct retrograde motion. As always, I will see you again in the next video.